Hello, everybody, and happy Wednesday. I hope everyone that's watching this or those who watch it later are having a good week. Sorry, guys, was having a little bit of echo there for a second. I am Teri True Crime, and welcome to Midday Missing, where I cover current missing person cases. For those of you that are new here, currently True Crime and Wine Time Productions produces the podcast True Crime and Wine Time, The Hey Ho Show, the investigation into the disappearance of Chase Lackey, Night Court, which is currently on hiatus, and Midday Missing. We stream live several days a week, so you're going to want to be sure to subscribe to our page so that you don't miss anything. Now, just a reminder, our moderators are always looking out for our community, and anything that goes against our rules or has less than favorable impact will be deleted. Repeated efforts to interrupt, or detract from the conversation will result in a temporary block or ban. So let's all be kind. Now, last Wednesday, I told you all about Kalie Goodwin and her disappearance. Well, today we have her mother, Kaci Richardson, on with us, and she is going to help give information and further details into the disappearance of her daughter. Hi, Kaci. How are you?
Hi. Nervous.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm
Are you
okay.
hanging in there?
Yeah, under the
Okay.
circumstances.
Well, I first want to thank you for taking all the time you have to talk with me over the last couple weeks and for the messages going back and forth. But I really want to say thank you for taking time to come on today because I can only imagine how difficult all of this is for you. And I think it takes a lot of strength and courage to be able to come on live on camera and to talk about something that is horrific that's going on in your life. So I just want to say thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
So as we start, I wanted to have you tell us a little bit about Kalie as a person. What was she like?
Kalie is, we don't know where she is really and free spirited. She would give her start off the back to anybody. If she didn't have anything, she would give you her last. Am I glitching?
Nope. It
Yeah.
breaks up every now and
Okay.
then, but it's
Wait.
doing
Can you
okay.
hear me
It's
now?
technology. Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, Kalie, if you were sad, and even though she had things going on or was sad, she would make you laugh. She would try to figure out a way to make you laugh. And like I said, I don't know if you heard me, but she would give the last of what she had to you if you asked or needed it. She's a giver, and she loved her dog. She loved her dog, Tinkerbell. Everybody can't stand that dog. She loved that dog, and it's a little black Pomeranian. And the funny thing is, the dog Tinkerbell died like 2 weeks before Kalie got missing.
Oh no.
Otherwise, I don't think Kalie would have went off on that path. The dog really grounded her, and it was missing for almost a week and a half, 2 weeks from Baytown, and she found her and did not give up the search at all. Was all over Facebook, everything, and they found her in Highlands. Those
Oh
little black
wow.
Pomeranians from Baytown, and had like puncture wounds all underneath her neck. And I had to make Kalie go and put her down because she's like, I want a second opinion. And she's so stubborn.
Oh.
Yeah. Kalie's very stubborn, as we all know.
Now, what are some of your favorite memories of her?
There's so many. I was discussing that with her sister last night, and I want to say holidays because Kalie was always the sore thumb to stick out. She was always late. We would always tease her. She's on Kalie time. Even if you called her, let her know she would be 3 hours late to Thanksgiving, to Christmas. The kids are waiting. Kalie's late. And then last Christmas, this past one, she called her sister, Jamie, the 25-year-old that I have. They are uh, both sisters from, my husband, my that passed away as well. Well, not that she did, but we don't know. She she called Jamie, and she was supposed to be at Christmas. What are y'all doing?
Oh, I was scratching my nose.
No, that's what she did.
Oh,
She
that's what
called
she
Kayla
said.
called
Oh,
Jamie and said, "What are y'all doing? We're waiting on you to open Christmas presents."
okay,
So anyway,
that's
yeah,
funny. I have an
she's
aunt
on Kaylee's time,
like that who we always say, "She's gonna be late for anything that we have." So, Kaylee's not alone.
and we literally have to wait for her. And if it's not that, we will get into, how they say at Thanksgiving that you get into arguments. Our Thanksgivings are just like that. Like, and nothing can go normal with 5 girls and
Yeah.
a
Well, and I honestly am a firm believer, can anything really be normal at holidays when you get all of the family together? I mean,
no,
can anything be
no,
normal?
especially when you have all females.
Yeah, I'm
No.
gonna just say I had 2 boys, and I like to think that I did good as a boy mom. 5 girls would have put me in a funny farm. So,
Yeah, and like I was telling and my poor husband, but like I was telling you, and I'm a tomboy. I hate pink. I don't do hair.
I
Like,
won't hold that against you that you hate pink, but
oh, so Kalie, yeah, she's
now,
on Kalie time.
can you walk us through the events leading
Yeah,
up to Kaylee's disappearance?
yes. Um, so I'm just sitting at home and I'm cleaning, and I get a phone call, and I've learned to always answer anybody's number. If a lot of people, if they don't notice a number, they're not going to answer it. But I learned the hard way, not that way. But anyway, so I answered the phone call without knowing the number, and I immediately can hear Kalie crying in the background and just begging. And this man is like, "I want my fucking money. I want my fucking money." And another guy, I can tell he's in the background. And I'm like, "Okay, what are you talking about? What is it?" And he was like, "Kalie, Kalie, she sold $600 for me. I want my fucking money." And I can't tell you how many times he said that quote. "I want my fucking money." So I was like, "Okay, look, I understand. Kalie's stolen from me before. Okay, you're mad, you're heated. Let's just calm down." I'm like, I don't have that right in my bank account right now. I can get it for you. Let's just calm down." And then, this conversation seemed like it lasts a lifetime, but it was 6 minutes, which was pretty long when you hear your daughter in the background pleading. And she was like, "Mama, please help me. My face is so disformed." He was pistol whipping her over and over.
Oh, wow.
Did you hear that?
Over $600.
No, no.
Uh-oh.
This is a
Did you
bad
freeze?
time for it to glitch. So yeah, so you heard the part where Kaylee was pleading, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So then he said at one point, tell your mom, tell your mom what Chava did. And she's like, Chava threw me under the, I threw Chava under the bus. I threw Chava under the bus. So Chava is a friend. No, he's not a friend. He's an acquaintance that Kalie spent time with. And I guess he had brought her over there for one time prior. This is what I heard from the detective. And that's where he had met Quan. She had met Quan, is when Kevin, Chava took Kalie to Kevin's house. That's where she ran into Quan one other time prior to this.
Okay. So
Okay.
they weren't
So
close friends or anything,
they
but they
had
had met.
spoken and linked up or met each other, but it was only one time before, one time. So Kalie decides to go over there with him, in trust. Normally she takes an Uber everywhere. This time she did not. The gentleman that picked up was Quan.
Picked
Okay.
her up. Okay.
And Quan was told the store in front of Fiesta had told him to pick him up. So he claims he's like an underground Uber. And that's
Okay.
where he met Kalie, which is a total bogus story. Hold on one quick second.
Guys, we'll give her just a minute. She's got a lot going on. She looks like she was grabbing some water.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question about the $600. Where did he say Kalie stole this money from him at?
Yeah. So I asked him that, and he was like, it was in my car. It was in my effing car. And I was like, okay, look. I realized at this point, because at first, at the beginning of the phone call, when I was telling you, I understand Kalie's stolen from me before, I started getting on to her. And I was like, what the fuck, Kalie? What are you doing? Why are you taking people's shit? Like, Mama Bear kicked in. But when I
Right.
started hearing her, I knew that this was serious. Kalie had multiple personality disorder. I
Okay.
know Kalie's fake cries, okay? And I know, I'm her mother. I gave birth to her. I know her.
Right.
And this was a scared to death, never scream and cry and plead. And the only time that was ever compared to this time of her crying is when she was in the back of the police car.
Okay.
So I started backing and reversing my role. And I'm like, oh, look, just give me a little bit. I can get the money. I can get it. And so people started thinking that I, called after we hung up. Well, I'm jumping
Did
ahead of
he tell
myself.
you? Did he like want you to meet him somewhere to get the money?
No,
Or
none of that
I
was ever
think I read he
discussed.
gave you a cash app or something.
Okay, so he gave me his girlfriend, which is Donna Owens. Yes, we're going to
Okay.
put her name out there because just put the pieces together on that one when we go ahead, because he was also driving her car everywhere. So her cash app, her card. Anyway, she said the detective told me that she always was at her job during any incident that occurred and is on camera. So she has alibi.
So they're saying she's not involved. She was just involved with a really bad dude.
Yeah. Now he did get her arrested on violation of probation because he wanted to get her on something. We all did. You can't tell me this woman doesn't know anything. Anything. They're making phone calls in jail right now, and he's crying to her about how he's getting beat up. That's why they had to move him, because in General Public Pop, they were roughing him up. So now
Well,
he's in a 23-hour on his own, gets out 1 hour a day is what I heard.
well, I don't think I mean, I wish I could say I feel sorry for him, but
No,
I
I don't.
don't.
No,
I don't. Um,
no.
Now, if I remember correctly, that Cash App name, so after you got off the phone, how did that call end with him? That initial call?
So after I got off the phone, I went to my husband got home from work as soon as I told him. He knew I was serious. He took off work at noon, came down here. We went straight to the Baytown Police Department, and I was trying to tell her about this. And mind you, I looked like crap, and I'm just telling you this now because when we saw her the day after, it was different. So anyway, I'm throwing that piece out there. I just looked like crap. So the front desk clerk said there's a lot of scams going on around here. And, that's just a scam. And I told her, well, first when I walked in, they said that they couldn't help me unless I had an address location on her. I was like, are you kidding me? An address
Isn't
on a
that what
missing
missing
person?
means?
And
Isn't
I'm
that what
like,
missing
I
means?
was so livid. I stormed out of there and called my lawyer. And my husband's like, no, we're going back in there. He said, give him her address she has on her mail. I'm like, okay. So I go back in there and do it. She didn't want to take the report. She didn't. So another lady came up to the front because I made her go get an officer. I said, look, if this is real and this is actually happening, I want something saying I was here. So she goes and gets an officer. An officer lady comes out and says, there has been a lot of scams. Here's my card. That was it. I'm like, okay, I'll be back up here tomorrow. So then I
So,
come
okay,
up, got
I'm
my
gonna
face
stop you.
done, got my hair.
They did not take a report right then? They just gave you their card?
They didn't make a report.
What the hell? I
And
mean,
she
I
didn't
do know
even
there's scams going around. There
okay,
are
so when I
scams
tell
going
you
out.
that they wanted to know, they wouldn't do the address, that was the day after. That wasn't even then. She just
When
went.
did they decide to take a report? When did they decide that
So
this was real?
I went in the next day, like I said, dressed up, and I said, I want to make a missing persons report. She did not notice me until 20 minutes into making this report. And she wasn't wanting to really do it. You could tell. And I would remember something and spur it out before I forget. She's like, ma'am, you just hold on. I will ask the questions. Then she realized who I was from yesterday. And that threw her off. So at this point, I got a case. They didn't want to take it the day before. Took them a week and a half to have a detective call me. So we're past the 48 hours, way
Wait,
past.
what? Okay, hold on. So it took them 24 hours, give or take, to take the report,
Correct.
and then it took a week to a week and a half for an investigator to call you?
Yes.
So what was being done during
Nothing.
that time?
Nothing.
Now, what were you doing? Because did you he gave you the Cash App number.
I was
Did you
going
keep trying to
nuts.
call him back?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And it was Kevin's phone,
Okay.
right? And let me just say, during this time when Kalie was getting beaten, Kevin would be in the background and he would be like, all right, man, that's enough, dude. That's enough. And he'd be like, I want my fucking money once again. So let me just throw that out there because also, Kevin eventually made him leave because he said he was doing too much to her. Anyway, I forgot.
Did y'all Did you call him back on the Cash App? Did you
Oh, yeah,
try to
we
get the
called back, and
$600 to
he
pay him?
answered. Yeah, all that day, he never answered, and he hung up on me when I told him, "Listen, you just need to chill, go smoke a joint, go take a Xanax, something, calm down." He hung up. I was like, "Great, great." So that's when I later on decided, "Hey, I'm gonna send him $1 just to see what happens and put ransom."
Makes sense to
Um,
me.
and that's what I did. Now, I sometimes wish I wouldn't have, because I'm wondering if I, pissed him off to make him go missing. That really hurts.
Well, I think we always can look back and say, should we have done this or shouldn't we
Shoulda,
have done
woulda,
that?
coulda.
But I think considering that the police weren't in a hurry to help you or do anything, I think you were trying to do the best thing you could. I mean, I have to tell you, in my case, I probably would have done everything
We
I
did a
could to
lot of we Me and my daughter, we went, me and a couple of my friends did a lot of social media investigation, found her Cash App, found her social media, you know, um, then Kevin, Brinley, my daughter, I probably not should have said her name. She's 15. We were like, okay, let's call the phone number again on your number, right? So it's like been 2 days. So she calls at like 5:45, right when she got up for school, which is an odd amount. I mean, not amount, but of time, right? 5:45 a.m.
right.
Kevin answers the phone, and she's like, "Look, that's my big sister. I'm a little sister. I miss her. And do you know what happened?" And Kevin is like, "The last I heard, him, Chava, and Kalie ran out the house. Now, whose house? I don't know." And Brinley's like, "Well, thank you so much for taking my call and talking to me." And he was like, "Anytime, I'll always talk to you." Like he really had some kind of sympathy or empathy for Brinley and her sister being gone.
But not enough to stop his
I
friend
don't
or
know if he knew
acquaintance
more.
from
I don't really know if he
hurting her.
does.
Now,
No, because
how
what I was told, he had this big ass gun and
oh,
people were scared of him. And so he's like, "You need to get out of my house. You're doing too much with her." Well, that's when he took Kalie. And she really didn't have a choice because her face was already beaten. And Kevin wasn't going to stop him because look how big he is. And with the big ass gun in his hand,
yeah,
what do? He's got the gun. He's crazy.
right. He's the one in control.
Right.
When you said the detective or the investigator called you a week and a half after, what did they say to you that first time?
I was assigned to her case.
And that's it?
In the midst of all this, they are moving and tearing down the old uh, Baytown Police Department,
Right.
which I believe also threw a wrench in things. You know, Everything had to be moved on that day that I went in from the old building. Then you got parking, then you have construction, then you have to build a new forensics, then everybody's got to set up in their office. It was chaotic. Um,
Now,
so they Go ahead.
I was going to ask, because someone has been arrested, how long after you filed the report were you told that someone had been arrested? And how did you find that out? Uh-oh, did I lose you? Casey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Okay. No, that's fine.
I'm thinking. Um, okay, so the detective called me a morning and said that he got a subpoena. No, he got a thing signed. He went to the judge's house in Fort Bend County and got it signed, and he's got a no bond and a charge for aggravated assault and kidnapping. Well, he was already in jail over Megan. So,
So let's back up a little bit. So are they the ones? Because if I remember correct from last Wednesday, my research, they tracked him to his girlfriend's Cash App and then to a car that was seen outside of the apartment that Kalie was getting into. So that's how they tracked back to his name is Quan Flowers. What led them to, did they tell you, the police tell you, we are arresting him for this aggravated kidnapping because it was his Cash App and it was his girlfriend's car? Is that what they used to arrest him for that kidnapping?
yeah,
Okay.
that's the charge they used. So, basically, I feel like that they think since they got a charge on him that it's over and they're letting it go. And that's why we're doing this podcast and raising awareness. We're not forgetting about Kalie. We're going to keep searching. I just got off the phone with EquiSearch, and they're going to be passing out flyers everywhere in that area where she was missing from, between Kevin's house and Quan's. Now,
Now, quick
yeah.
question, just so we can talk, because I don't want Kalie to be forgotten, but I also don't want Megan to be forgotten either,
Oh,
because
most
I have
definitely.
goosebumps. So Quan was already in Harris County Jail when they went to serve this warrant because he murdered Megan. Wasn't it within a couple of days before or after
Yeah.
Kalie that he
Yes,
killed
ma'am.
Megan?
It was May the 3rd, and Kalie went missing April 22nd.
Why did the police tell you what led him to kill Megan? Did she owe him money? Did he think she took money? Did they
I
say what?
So this is the funny
Why?
thing. This is the funny thing. I spoke to Megan's mom one time. She reached out to
Okay.
me. The funny thing is she has 5 daughters too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that gave me chills when she told me. But um she had told me that he also reached out to one of Kevin's friends and asked for money. I'm not Kevin's friends, Megan's friend. And I was also told by the detective that Chava got the same phone call. He was trying to get money out of him too.
For Megan? So
No, for Kalie. I'm sorry.
for Kalie. Okay. So has
So
there
for
been
Megan,
any
I was told by Megan's mom that Quan had reached out to one of Megan's friends and asked for money on Cash App. Or yeah,
so I mean, it sounds like he needed money for something, whether it was stolen from him or he felt entitled to it.
I
Looking into his
believe that
background,
he was trying to reach out to her, both of them's closest person, to let them know that this is a game to him. I had texted Kalie 11 minutes prior to getting this phone call. So he
okay,
had her phone. So when this is going on, I believe that he saw my text, saw that I was aggravated and disappointed in her actions, and he took that upon himself to use that as a platform for himself and to see me suffer, her suffer. And I think that he got off on that. Just like he took pictures of Megan's casings. Who does that?
somebody
So he
who's
can go back and look at it.
not right. Now, what can you tell us about the investigation process that the police have been doing into Kalie's case. Do you feel like it has stalled now that they've got a warrant for him for aggravated kidnapping? Do you feel that because he's in jail already facing murder charges that they feel that's enough? Or do you think they're still investigating?
Yes, most definitely. Most definitely.
So
I
you think
stopped getting
it's
phone
stalled?
calls. I have to initiate. I'm getting nothing like, well, he's locked up for life, maybe death penalty. What else do you want?
Do
I want my daughter.
I was like, say you want your daughter and to know where she is.
And I think they think it's just fine since they caught a charge on him, and that's that. Because
Yeah.
I used to get daily phone calls from him, and at
Okay.
the very beginning and all this, I think it was really good. I thought they were doing a great job, and they were, but especially when they did the press release with me, I was
Mhm.
very happy for that to get the word out. But yeah, they're done. They've seemed like you know, we did our job.
Now, and I also want
And it
to
really pisses me off.
talk about when they found those shell casings by Megan, plus he had taken pictures. Those shell casings were linked to 2 other crimes that he had committed,
Match
and he had
during
shot
that
someone in the
time.
face during that time. Now,
Yes,
seeing his
yes.
criminal background, I do see some drug charges. Do or have the police said that they think he was on a drug binge? Was he
Well, that never really got discussed because I was told that he was a pimp and he sold a big drug dealer. So I guess that really didn't get discussed anymore because it was obvious he was on a binge and on a bad trip. But if you're this big drug dealer and pimp, why are you asking for $600? And
well, that was gonna be my
and
next
first of
question.
all, let me just mention that Kalie could get $600 in one phone call. She has lots of friends, but they would want to know what it's for, but they would help her. A lot of friends. And she didn't need to steal for 600 bucks. So I knew that right there was bullshit. I knew she didn't steal that $600.
That was
She's not
just
that
his
stupid. I don't care how high or whatever. That would not be anything that would enter her mind, especially look at how big the man is.
yeah,
Would
I
you
mean,
steal
he
$600 from somebody like that?
I
No.
personally wouldn't because he scared the crap out of me.
So,
Now, did
yeah.
the police ever say that they thought maybe Kaylee was purchasing drugs from Quan? Or that that's why she met up with him?
We never went into that into detail,
Okay.
but yeah, we didn't because that's neither here nor there. But
I
I
just wondered
will
if
point
that was
out Kaylee has multiple personality disorder.
right,
That has to be it. That has to be it. I mean, what else would it be? Maybe, Kaylee couldn't find it in Baytown. She got his number
right.
that one time they ran into each other. So she's like, oh, let me hit him up, see what he's got.
Right. Yeah, and the
It,
reason I
it's
ask
it's sad. Addiction's sad,
mhm, and the reason I
but
ask,
it's between that and
I've
having a
l
multiple personality disorder, those two.
right. I've learned through doing the true crime stuff that sometimes police categorize people that they don't feel are the perfect victim. So if they think you're out trying to score, a little dime bag or whatever it's called of
Then
marijuana,
that's what you get.
and that's what you get. And that's why I was asking if they said that because I see that so many times and it just frustrates me because I don't give a crap what you're doing. No one has the right to hurt you or to take you.
Kaylee is still A person, a
Mhm,
daughter, a sister, a granddaughter.
mhm. Now, how did you feel when
You
you
help.
heard
So, okay, let's go back. I also found out that Quan lured a younger girl under 18 in his car, and she had to get away from him. Did you
did
know
they ever
about that?
report it? No. That's scary. Now, how did you feel when you heard he'd been arrested, when police told you?
Yes. And I didn't find out about that until I watched the true crimes thing on YouTube, a 15-minute story about Kalie and the whole us. But, that's why I found out about the shell casings. The police didn't tell me any of this.
Now, are the police the one who told you that they arrested Quan?
Well, he was already arrested, so they just told me they put
Or I
charges
guess the warrant,
on
because
him.
I guess I need to remember that. He is in Harris County being held
Yes.
on probation violation and their murder charges for Megan. Fort Bend County has filed the arrest warrant for Quan for aggravated kidnapping of Kalie. And until Harris County's done with him, they're not going to send him over. But did the police call you and say, hey, we went to the judge, we got this, and we are charging him with aggravated kidnapping?
Yes. Yeah. He
They
that's when
did.
he informed me that he went to the judge's house that prior night and got it signed. So I was very thankful, because he got no bond. And Fort Bend County doesn't mess around with stuff like that. So they're very, you're going to serve your time.
Mhm.
So he's going to get up to 30 years and no bond right now.
And
So even if he got out on Megan's bond right now, he would go
yeah,
straight to Fort Bend.
yeah. And that's something I want to tell people. I mean, so in Harris County, I was looking up the record. There, he needs $450,000 bond on Megan's, yet for murder. But Fort Bend County on aggravated
Correct.
kidnapping is doing a no bond. I really want to just look at Harris County and say,
Correct.
seriously? I mean, murder
Yeah.
charge, you're offering a
And he
$450,000
went to
bond.
his house at night and got it signed.
I, I, I don't. And then let's talk about Kevin. So it was Kevin's phone that called you, and we know they were at Kevin's house. Kevin was arrested, but
Yes.
not related to Kalie, correct?
He was on arrested on meth charges. Okay.
Oh,
When they went to they finally went to Kevin's house and got a search warrant. Okay. I even talked to one of the officers that went with his dog on a separate occasion. He said he was there. Uh, the detective called me during the search, and I could hear them in the background scuffling and getting stuff and going through stuff. And he would ask me a question about, did she like to draw or color, this and that. Um, and they arrested him with, meth charges, but nothing else. Okay. So I guess he had some background with this because, okay, the detective told me that he was trying to get the okay to go to Mississippi. And I said, well, what's in Mississippi? And he said, well, they transported Kevin to Mississippi because they were overcrowded. So then I reminded him about it 2 to 3 weeks later. And I was like, so did you get the okay to go to Mississippi? And he's like, oh, he's already back in Harris County. I talked to him. He said he's being truthful that that's the last time that he saw. So why did they take him to Mississippi for a month, 3 weeks, and bring him back? Don't you think that's a lot of our tax dollars money for
well, my
on wait,
initial
on a meth charge?
my initial thought is on a meth charge, did Kevin have evidence or proof or something of a bigger deal, like maybe the supplier was in Mississippi, or it makes me wonder, what did they think they were
I'm
gonna
gonna,
get
I'm
out of
going to tell
him?
you right now, Terry, there's some connection. There's some connection. It's not just the outside. There is an inside connection somewhere. I don't know where. But this man cannot get off of murder in Texas and do all of these assault actions and
Mhm.
not get punished for them, not get justice for, not justice,
Now,
but punished. You do the crime, you do the time. They didn't
yeah,
even pick him up.
I was to say, do you think they're gonna charge Kevin as an accomplice, accessory? I mean, it was his phone. Um, he admitted she was at his house. Do you think they're
His
going to charge him?
He's saying that he's scared of him and that he just did whatever he told him because he had a gun in his hand.
Well, that's still
But
in my
then
book,
on the
makes you
other
an
hand, you
accessory.
kicked him out. But Kevin, you had the balls to kick him out of the house with
Right.
Kalie.
Yeah. Do you think maybe
But you're scared?
Kevin is sharing information and that's why they haven't?
I mean, it's something. I can't put my finger on it, but it's
I mean,
something.
because
Something's not right. Something
I
is not right.
something's not right. I mean,
I
we
don't
don't know
know
what
if
the police
he's
have or what they're doing, but
somebody is covering both of their asses, and I don't know who
yeah,
it is or what.
yeah. Now, and I don't have the direct quote
Because
in
you
front
don't
of
just
me.
let a murderer run around Houston, a serial killer running around Houston.
Now,
And I know there's other victims. So we have got to get this out. The more
yeah,
victims that come,
yeah. Now, like I was saying, I don't have the quote in front of me, but if I remember correctly, Quan Flowers, when he was asked about Kaylee and where she was at, he said
she
something
was in
like, "The
one
last
piece the
time."
last time I saw her.
Yeah,
What it That can mean a million things. What does that
right.
even mean?
I mean, he didn't say that she was alive
No,
or
but he said
deceased,
he was with her the last time I
but she
saw
was in
her.
one piece. Yeah.
So
Now,
where did you see her last?
that was gonna be my next question. Did he say where he saw her last? Or have
No.
the police told
And
you
it
what he
doesn't
said?
seem like they're trying to get it out of him. No. And it doesn't seem like they're trying to get it out of him either. I asked him if they were going to try to make a plea deal and get together with Fort Bend. No. He's in jail. He might, his whole life and, might be the death penalty. What else do you want? I want my daughter. I want to know what happened to Kalie. I can
Yeah,
accept if she's in heaven. I can accept that.
but you
What I cannot
yeah,
accept is where is Kalie? And my other fear is that he sold her and she could be far away getting sex trafficked. And I honestly would rather her be in heaven than be suffering.
oh, I have to say I agree. I mean,
100.
I
I'm not going to be that selfish.
yeah, just because now you said that the police, I think you said it was the police had said he was a pimp. If they knew he was a pimp and a drug dealer,
Yeah.
why hasn't he been arrested for that?
And those assaults and
Yeah,
daylight, in the daylight, 8 times shooting a man in the face. Oh, and I heard he was a homeless man as well.
he was a homeless man.
Where's our justice system?
Yeah, I
What's
mean,
going
that
on?
homeless man's family deserves justice as well, um, because he just does.
Yes.
Now,
He's
how
still a person. And
He is.
I was told the reason why he did that is because he was talking to his girlfriend and he got jealous and said, "Don't talk to my girl." And that's when he shot him.
Yeah, this guy has a lot of problems. Now, how has Kalie's disappearance affected you and the family?
That question was one that was going to be really hard because it's affecting my marriage. It's affecting my girl's mental state. 8-year-old will sometimes before bed will say, "Mommy, just get my bicycle out of storage so I can go look for Kalie. Please, we gotta go find Kalie. We gotta look for her." And she gets so mad because I wouldn't take her out to go look for Kalie. But I told her, "I don't know where to look, baby. They've already searched the places that they think." And you know how hard that is to explain to an 8-year-old that the last memory she remembers is her sister holding her in her bed.
I now,
My kids are not, we are not well at all.
I,
And
how
I'm
could
just
you be?
doing the very best I possibly can because I have young ones and my 6-year-old is autistic.
Yeah.
I have a 15-year-old that I'm trying to start school and driving school with. My life is still, I just moved into a new apartment yesterday. My life is not stopping because Kalie is missing, but I don't want people to forget I'm not going to quit.
Now,
So it's affected our lives dramatically.
has Fort Bend County
Dramatically.
given you a victim's advocate or anything?
No, I've gotten no resources but on my own. I even asked for some resources from the pay down from the detective and I got nothing. So I myself, I've got a lot of things going on that are good.
Okay, because
I've done a lot of research. I have a business management degree and I started putting it to use.
because there are
Um,
resources out there,
there's a billboard
and
going up.
yeah.
I know.
Oh,
Oh, I
is there?
know. I've looked. That's why I was saying there's supposed to be a digital billboard going up for a nonprofit organization about, where's Kalie. Um, I also have, I'm just going to say, some agent, retired,
Mhm.
coming down from another part of Texas, and his uh, associates that are going to look into finding Kalie. I was also told that Crime Stoppers, the detective is supposed to call Crime Stoppers and ask them, y'all have the money. Would you put up the money for the reward?
Right.
I was told that's how you do it. I explained that to the detective, and he said, "I don't know who told you that information, but I don't think that's right." And
Not the answer
he laughed
that
at
I
me the
think is
other
appropriate.
he laughed at me the other day, literally. And I called him out and I said, "Brett, are you really laughing at me right now?"
Okay, please
Because I
share.
had called Quanell X. I had called Quanell X. There was one night that I was in my lowest and I was writing down any and everybody or anything that can help find Kalie. Okay. And I sent out an email to Quanell X, even though I don't agree with his tactics. I was thinking to myself, well, maybe he could go talk to him man to man. Maybe he could reach him. I've begged my husband numerous times, just go down there and talk to him. So he called me that morning and was like, I already knew he was going to ask for money. So at the beginning of the conversation, I was like, look, I have no money. And he's like, well, me and my investigation crew can't, the office won't let me do anything without 3,000. And he's like, why did you exactly, what made you call me? And I said, honestly, I thought man to man that you could go talk to him and find out where my daughter's at. But I guess that would cost me $3,000. So
And who is
an
that?
activist, Quanell X, he's the one on Fox News that argues with the white dude.
Oh, okay. I just did not make that connection.
So the
Okay,
detective got upset when I had mentioned that I had talked to him. And he said he was not going to work with any outside sources as such of that. And I said, hold on. You can't compare some of nonprofit organizations to Quanell X and not help work with them if they're trying to help find Kalie.
right.
I said, I was ding at the bottom of the beat on that. Okay.
And
I
he
was at a
laughed
low
at
point
you?
just trying to find answers.
I mean,
Yeah.
what else are you supposed to do? I would have done the same thing. I would have been doing anything and everything.
I'm really trying to get a hold of Nancy Gray and Mike from Missing. He started the organization 24 hours. Is
24
that it?
hours?
Mike? No, that's a news
I'm not
show.
sure.
America's Most Wanted.
Oh, Adam Walsh. No, that
Yes.
was his son's
I'd
name,
like to get a hold of
wasn't it?
him. I'd like to get a hold of
Okay.
Nancy. I would like to get a hold of the nightly news before anything, really. Nightline,
Right.
Dateline, something national.
Well, I will go on and submit Kalie's information to Missing in America and just submit it and see what'll happen. Even if somebody else has
I've
done
done
it.
that.
Okay.
I did
But
that.
I'm a firm believer
Oh
that
yeah,
the
that's
more
even more
people who do
better.
it. Now, with this help that you're getting with billboards and
Then it'll
all
get
of that,
pushed.
is there any organization or anyone that you want to publicly thank or let the public know that's been helping
Yes.
you?
Yes. Um, Most definitely EquiSearch. They have been so good at communication, empathy,
Mhm,
patience, and they volunteer to go out and look in these remote places
mhm.
whenever the department doesn't have the capability, the time. So EquiSearch, 100%. They've given me flyers this thick to hand out.
Yeah.
You know, they came and delivered them to me. They go out of their way to help. So I definitely want to thank EquiSearch.
Yeah.
Um,
They're
I
phenomenal.
Yes, they are. And I also heard that someone else helped with the search warrant in Fort Bend County, and I can't. It's like a coastal. I want to thank them, but I don't know exactly who their name
Right.
is. And Detective Brett for doing what he started.
Now,
And I'm gonna leave that at that.
what advice?
There's some other people though that
Oh,
are
is
are
there? Okay.
that are fixing to come into that I'm not allowed to.
Okay.
I'm not. I don't. I choose not to speak on, but I do want to
If
thank them in advance.
Okay. And if you can't, what we can do when you are able to share, let me know. I will release a little update, a couple of minute
Awesome.
thing, giving them and also tagging them
Good
because
deal.
without these advocacy groups, without these
No
nonprofits,
profit. Yep.
without the community stepping in to help, look at what just happened with the girl who was missing, Chloe, in Houston. The police weren't doing anything, but Grizzy Hood News
Yeah.
was on top of it, had it out there. And let me tell you, her tenacity and her following, I think, is what helped find that girl.
Yeah, a lot of people kept tagging me and say you need to get this on Grizzly News. And she sat in her car one day and ranted
Mhm.
on it for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, so
And
that's why
I
when
was
I
just like, this
say,
is awesome. I didn't know who she was.
yeah, oh, if there's anything going on in
Yeah,
Houston
because
area,
I'm
metro
old. I didn't
area,
know who she was.
you need to follow Grizzy. So, She is amazing. Now, I know you're still
Yeah.
new into this, a life that you didn't want to. What advice would you give to other families if they find themselves in this situation? Because I don't think there's a manual for it. I don't think someone hasn't put it all together, but I believe that you probably have already learned
There's
some
common
lessons.
sense, though.
Yeah, there is, but I think it's a school of hard knocks, and I also think if you've never thought you're gonna be in that situation, I can't imagine how the brain works when all of a sudden you are. So, is there any advice that you can give to others?
Um, I think one of the biggest things is I have forgiven Quan. Now, people
Okay,
may think that that's too soon, but without forgiving him what he did, there's no way that I could move on. To hold
I
on
get
to
that.
that anger and to that anger, uh, I'm already getting eaten alive. My heart is already broken. I don't need more heartbreak by hating this man. This man has issues. We all know this.
Mhm. I
I'm
mean, it
not
doesn't
rationalizing
excuse
what
what
he
he did.
did.
Right.
I'm forgiving him and not forgetting.
Now, what do you see as the future of Kaylee's case? Do you think the police are gonna get involved and try to get
No,
the answer of where she is? No.
no. I think that they're done. And that's
Well,
why
I'm gonna
I
just stop you
really
right
want
there.
to
I'm gonna stop you real quick and tell you
get
that's
this
not okay
out
with
there
me.
to put
That
some
is not
heat
okay with me.
under their
Yeah, that's not okay. That's not okay. Um, you don't stop
um
looking just because you have somebody.
and you know what? I don't even care. If they don't get involved, that's fine because there's other people that will.
Mhm.
And the resources, nonprofits, you know, they will. And they're going to look real stupid when somebody else ends up finding them
Mhm.
that's not agents. So
Right.
that's on them. I'm tired of holding on to hatred, and I just I'm tired of hearing everything happens for a reason. That's not what a mom wants to hear. I'm tired of hearing there's nothing. My friends even told me there's no words to talk to me to say to me. There are no words. This is a
Yeah.
mother's heartbreak, worst nightmare. And there are no words to give them because you can't say, I know how you feel. No, you don't. Did you give birth and your child's missing? And yes, I'm going to call her a child because at the at the end of the day, she is still my child, and
Oh,
she had mental issues and needed to be watched, and she on meds. So, you know, Kalie was kind of like a child. And but also what was worse is she liked one of her personalities liked to push the the boundaries to see how
mm,
far she can get in in like jumping diving like that adrenaline rush for doing something and seeing how far she can get away with
yes.
it. Now that doesn't mean that she deserved whatever she was dealt with.
She does not deserve that at all. Now, I can tell you before we wrap up that we will share this.
Because let me just
Um,
I want to put this out here real quick.
yeah.
I want to put this out there real quick. Kalie just got out She was in the psychiatric hospital for 3 weeks, and then after that, she went to rehab, and she had called me, and she's never called me to ask for help. That she wanted the help. I always initiated it. Okay. So I'm like, okay, she's for real this time. She's asking for help. She hadn't been out not even 3 weeks, 4 weeks at the most since this happened.
Oh, wow.
And drugs are a disease. She
They
should have
are.
been on mental meds. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, not at all.
I mean, it's part of the story. Kalie wanted to do good. She really wanted to do good.
Wow.
She just made the wrong choice with the wrong person.
I It's sad that there are people out there who take advantage of others. But like you said, we know he has issues. I can tell you what we can do is our community is great. We will continue sharing all of this information, posts. We will keep track of it and we will keep getting the word out there because I do believe it's going to take the community stepping in and getting involved and lighting the fire under some people.
We have to. Hey,
I
let
mean,
me let me just say this. We don't know if Kalie's been sex trafficked to Mexico, if she's laying in a field since a hurricane for
yeah,
3.5 weeks in a dumpster. We don't know.
no.
And
And
we have to find out. She can't just be vanished.
yeah, no. And I want to challenge anyone that's watching this or sees this. If you know Quan Flowers or you know his girlfriend and you have any information and you're not comfortable calling the police, you are
Equisearch.
more than welcome to message us. We will get the information over to Kaci, but you can
Equisearch is
call
also a safe place.
also a safe place. You can do this anonymously. Quan is a big guy. He looks scary, and I can get why people are scared of him. But I want anyone who's sitting there with information and are not talking because they're scared of him, I want them to stop, put themselves in your shoes, Kaci. I want them to sit there in your shoes and think how they would feel if it was their daughter. And I want them to call in and give that information. Or if they have information on how to get Quan to talk, or if they have information on places Quan hung out, where Quan liked to go and do his drugs,
The smallest
anywhere.
thing can lead us to Kalie. No,
Yes.
no place or anything you say is stupid or don't feel embarrassed.
No. And that's why I want to tell people do it. If you're scared to call the police,
Nothing's too
call
small.
Texas EquiSearch, reach out to us. We have that private tip line that's for Chase Lackey's
My
calls.
Facebook is open public.
Okay.
I just want to let that know, everybody know that right now. I'm getting a lot of weirdos, but my Facebook is public. So
The loons come out. Well, I want to thank you again for coming on today. I and the team and the community, we will keep getting the word out. As we all know, I grew up in Houston, worked in Baytown. My granddaughter lives in Baytown. Um, Once again, I feel like things happen for a reason for me to learn about these cases. Not that what happened, that maybe that's why so many people sent it to me. Even my nephew sent your daughter's case to me and he's like, "Oh, you need to look into this." And it's that connection again.
um
And we will do whatever we can to help.
also I the other day was ran into some Baytown police officers and I was like, do y'all know about, Kalie, my daughter that's missing? And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, you don't know? So when I confronted the detective about this, I'm like, how come they didn't know about Kalie? And he's like, do you know how many people go missing a day? I'm like, but don't y'all have a meeting before shift? We did hold a press conference there for goodness sakes, about Kalie. So you think your department that are on the streets would know about her and to be looking and keeping their eye out, wouldn't you think?
You I mean,
I mean, Baytown is
absolutely
not like Harris County. It's not that big.
right, and that's what I was getting ready to say. Fort Bend is not Harris County. Fort Bend doesn't have hundreds of people like Harris County. So every officer should have a picture of Kalie in their cars, in their little
Exactly.
books. They should everybody
Right.
should know. But I will tell you this, it's happens. I called Baltimore, Maryland to verify another missing person case. And I was shocked when the detective I talked to, he goes, "Well, I'm going to have to give this to somebody else because I don't know anything about this person." And I'm like, "She is a child missing in
What?
your district. How can you not
Oh,
know?"
wow.
So I want to encourage all law enforcement everywhere. I don't care how many missing person cases you have. You need to tell your officers. So if
Yeah.
somebody asks them, they can at least say, "Yes, I've been told about this case. I am so sorry I mean, something. You don't just let them not go because, first of all,
Especially
it
if
makes
you're
your
on the
officers look
streets.
uneducated. It makes them look stupid. And we do not need law enforcement to look stupid. They somehow
Yeah,
do that
I
on their
can't
own.
say too much for Baytown right now, so just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know where they got their schooling.
Yeah. So, well, I want to thank you again. Please, if it's okay, I want us to keep in touch.
Oh, most definitely.
Do anything we can to
I
help.
need
I'm
all
also
listen, guys, I need all the support and prayers that I can get right now. This is a family that is breaking. So
it is
please, I beg you, wherever you are, just know, don't forget about Kalie.
well,
Please.
we will help make sure that doesn't happen. And I'm also going to send you the name of another organization. I'll tell you, it's called Light the Way. I met them at the podcast festival a couple weeks ago. Amazing organization. I will send you their information and contact. I don't know what all their resources are, but the empathy and these women made me wish I could do more because they are just amazing with everything. So I want
Well,
you to
let me
know,
just say you're the first person that's really reached out. So thank you. Thank you. Nobody has
oh,
reached out to try to help, but you did.
yeah, I mean, I can't not. I mean, I've told this story before with the Chase Lackey case. I don't like missing person cases because I need an answer. And I get very involved. I have this heart. And when it connects to that heart, I just can't help it that I want to help. And I also can't stand law enforcement not doing their job and thinking, oh, well, it's not a perfect victim. So we're not
You
going to
know,
do as much.
you now that you're saying that real quick, do you remember when that real estate agent went missing and her husband put her out in the field over here in
Hmm.
Baytown and they found her?
And they found her.
Okay, that's a perfect model. They found her in the field.
Yeah.
She was
I
the
mean,
perfect, not the perfect, but the
right.
profile.
The profile.
The
Now,
so profiling is what I'm getting in between the lines.
yes,
That's all I'm
yes.
saying.
And what I'm going to say, I do know law enforcement does a lot behind the scenes and they can't tell you.
Can't share.
I know that for a fact. But with that, I think they need to do a better job of communicating that and saying, hey, Kaci, we are
We're
doing
doing
5
something.
things. We're doing 5 things. I can't tell you what those 5 things are because we need to protect the integrity of the case.
Yeah, I just stopped getting phone calls altogether. I'm the
And
only
that's not okay.
one. I'm the
That's
only
not okay.
one that is trying to communicate.
Yeah,
And then I'm not
that's
getting
not okay.
any answers anymore. It's like, we're done.
Yeah. Well, we're going to all keep doing what we're doing. I want to ask you to remember to take care of yourself during this time. I know you've got the 4 other girls. I know you've got a husband. You've just moved. You also just recently had a death in the family. You are in my thoughts and prayers because I don't know how you are sitting there right
Thank you.
now holding it together. I would not be able to. So I admire you for being able to do that. And I hope that I would have that courage and strength.
Thank
So
you. Thank you.
keep
Because
taking
literally,
care of
everybody's
yourself.
saying the Lord can't put too much on you than you can handle.
I, I've been told that my whole life. And I'm going to have to tell you, I don't know how
I
I
don't
feel
like to
about
hear
that
it.
because
Because
I, I'm sitting there looking at you and I'm thinking, God, I think she's had enough. If that's truly the thing, she's done. She's at capacity. Don't do anymore because I, I don't know how I feel about but that. But my heart goes out to you. Please reach out anytime, day or night, if you need anything. Okay. Anytime. Feel free to reach out. And once again, I thank you very much for coming on today. Would you like to say anything before we leave? Uh-oh, did I lose you? Well, looks like you froze.
yeah, that whole
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Well, thank you very much. And I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And I look forward to seeing you all again on Monday for our next episode
Thank
of
you.
Midday Missing. I want to give everyone a task, and I want to ask you all to go share Kalie's missing post and flyer on every social media you have. I want you to tag Baytown in Fort Bend County. Yes,
And also, there's a group I made called Find Kalie Goodwin.
yes. And I was going
Jump
to say,
on there
and
and
join the Facebook group, stay there, and let's get the word out. Let's put the pressure. Because let me tell you, the east side of Houston, Baytown, I consider part of Houston, it's a big community. There's a lot of people on social media. Let's flood social media. Let's make it to where any officer on their break who's looking at Facebook's going, damn, again? Let's do that. Okay, guys. So until next time, I want to ask everyone to please stay safe and watch out for crime. But most importantly, right now, I want you to keep an eye out for Kalie and let's try to find her and bring her home. Thank you, Kaci.
thank you.